Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I'm Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York. Or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. Now, this is called what is the law of big lists. That's a law I made up, but what it basically means is you need to have a big list. I get calls, I would say, every week, sometimes multiple times a week, because people want to skip trace with me, and they say, I have a list of 125. I have a list of 800. I have a list of 2,000. I have a list of 3,000. These are not big enough lists if these are your only lists. Now, if you have multiple lists and they add up, then it's fine. But if you're not working with a data set of at least 8 to 10,000 or more to start, you are setting yourself up for failure, right? Frank Kern, who's like a internet marketing genius, said, he calls it the law of damage, but it's really the law that most won't. You've got to understand, even if you skip trace that listing at 30,000 numbers, the vast majority are not going to answer the phone when you call. And then a vast majority of people who do answer the phone when you call are not going to have a house for sale. And then a vast majority of people who do have a house for sale, and we've already, by the way, narrowed this down significantly just from those two, have no real motivation or no rush, and are probably not going to have any interest in talking to you about selling it to you. And then even a vast majority of people who are going to talk to you about selling it to you are not going to be able to sell it, are not going to maybe schedule an appointment. And then the vast majority of the ones who do schedule an appointment are not going to be interested in selling to you. So you need a big list. I say 10,000, you can maybe 8,000 of people that are more likely to sell, right, of prospects that you can whittle down. I got a list for somebody recently of about 10,000 to about 30,000 numbers to call, because my skip tracing company usually gets three numbers up to three numbers per name. And she said she went through 9,000 and she got only 2 appointments. That's the way it works. You got to understand, the list of 10,000, I'm hoping that gets you a deal. You've got to understand, when you're starting, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to say stupid things. I did. You're going to. So there's a huge luck factor in, you could work the same list of 10,000 as me, and you can talk to completely different people as me. There's a luck factor of when you're going to reach people. Is that the time where they're motivated? Are they not motivated at that time? And if you don't have a big enough list, what happens is you get frustrated, right? You pay for 4 lists of 400 each of highly targeted crap. I don't know what the hell they are. And out of 400, you end up talking to 3, and all of them say no. And you say, oh, that list sucks. You don't know if that list sucks. You need a big enough data set on any list. I'm telling you, you need 8 to 10,000 to work. That list will last you 4 to 6 months. It should, if you're calling it, or even if you're texting it, or both. It doesn't matter. And hopefully you can get a deal out of it, or at least some good appointments and some people that you can follow up with later. Guess what? Even the people that are ready people that say they're going to sell may not sell right now. They may not be ready. They may have no place to go. There might be an occupancy issue where there's a tenant that they can't get out. All kinds of things happen all the time. This is just how it works. But if you don't work with a big enough data set, you just don't know. You just don't know if the list was good, or if what you're doing, or if the problem is the list, if the problem is you. So you need to work with large data sets, right? I say no less than 8 to 10,000 to start, and that list should last you, depending on how much time you're spending on it, 4 to 6 months. It could last longer. After 6 months, you probably want to get new data anyway. But that is my law of big lists, and I'm saying that only because I've spoken to a dozen people in the last week who are telling me about sizes of their list that are tiny. You need bigger lists. Very important. If you don't work with big lists, you are setting yourself up for disappointment and failure. So work with big lists, work them steadily, call them. Again, I'm a big fan of ZenCall. We use SkipForce for skip tracing, and those are great providers. We set up ZenCall with 3 calls per each number. So if you don't reach the first time, it'll call 2 more times. And we set it up with this optimized call window from SkipForce, which allows us to only call the callers that I'm using, or you, if you're using ZenCall, will only see the prospects that are in that window, right? So if their optimized call window theoretically was 2 o'clock in the morning, you're never going to see them. But if their optimized call window is anytime between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. when we do call, then you're going to see them and you're going to call them, and we have much higher connect rates because of it. So I highly recommend you work with bigger lists, you work with good data, you skip trace it with a reliable company, and over time you will get deals. But it takes time. In New York, it can take a year to get a deal. I tell everybody the same story. I'll say it again. I was in the business for 4 years. I had bought I had bought a lot of deals and rehabbed them. I bought them at auctions. And then after 4 years of doing that, I decided to go direct to seller. It took me 8 months to get a dime from that. And I was spending over $20,000 a month in marketing. And I knew what I was doing in theory, but I didn't really know direct seller as well. But it took me 8 months. So if you're doing this and you're frustrated after 6 months, believe me, it's just the beginning. You really need a year of doing this. And then when people call me all the time and say, I've been wholesaling for a year, I haven't gotten any deals. And when I really talk to them, I find that they've made one offer in a year. Your job is to make offers. Meet with sellers, make offers. You got to first qualify them over the phone and then meet with them and make offers. And a lot of people aren't doing that. And a lot of people are working with tiny lists and they think I'm going to hit that crazy 1 in a million home run on a list of 200 or even a list of 3,000. It's too small. You need bigger data sets. So work with big lists. That is today's lesson. So if you want to find out more about how I can help you, you can go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you like these videos, please click like. If you're watching on YouTube, you can like also and subscribe. Comments get responded to via whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. So I'm here to help you. My phone number is in the notes. You can call me and leave me a message if you want more information. Thank you very much for watching.